Alrighty, folks, welcome back to another episode of Yammy Noob, and if you're joining us through the podcast, we're actually busting this out as a standalone episode if it sounds a little bit strange. We are doing It Came From Discord. We've got our Discord boys sending us our DM submissions over here for the podcast. We've asked them to submit some photos of their motorcycles and a blurb, a short blurb, please. Fingers crossed we get a short blurb today, and so we can actually roast their bikes and have some fun. If you actually want to participate, join over on yammynoob.co, become a member. You can actually sign up for our Discord server, and then you can send us sweet memes and DM your bike and have a ton of fun with us on the Yamcast. You won't regret it, I promise. It's like a bike night that never ends. Without further ado, Spite, let's take a look at some crap bikes.
Let's do it. Diving on in, we have Valley Mage up first with...
What is that? It's a 2021 CBR, a CB1000R Black Edition, my daily beater and weekend warrior. I don't know if I consider that a beater. That's a pretty nice bike.
This is the one that the CBR 1000 people will not shut.
No, they won't. They won't. Cause it's because we... Oh, nice, dude. Dog's just taking a dump in the back. I love it. That's great. Yeah, because it's the bike that we kind of just neg them on because we never talk about it.
Nope.
We're always like, oh yeah, naked bikes, hyper naked bikes, MT10, Super Duke. There's like, what about the CB1000R? We're just like, what about it? What about it? I bet you it's a really nice bike.
Yeah, I
bet you it's perfectly fine.
I bet you it's like the Hornet, but faster.
Yeah.
And we should probably ride one of these days.
Yeah.
Just for giggles.
Could be cool.
But, I mean, it's also just... It's just a Honda.
It's just a Honda. I think a lot of people think it's the second coming of Christ, but I think it's not even the first, maybe even the half coming of Christ.
Nope. It's a motor and two wheels.
Yep.
All right, what are you going to rate it?
I'm going to rate it a 6 out of 10.
6 out of 10.
6
that
out of
feels
10.
Appropriate.
Yep.
Moving on, Wyatt is next.
Wyatt, behold my 2012 XR900X. I bought it because it makes potato noises, but it isn't a cruiser and it looks freaking rad. Now, we hate to break it to him, but it is a cruiser.
Not entirely accurate.
What is this if not a cruiser?
It is... Okay, I'm out on my Harley lore when it comes to the XR, but I think that this was Buell's attempt to make like a naked Sportster.
Wait,
I think this was back when
really?
Buell was in it.
Buell's on this?
I think so.
Really?
I'm pretty sure that Buell was involved. And it was basically just changing the Sportster architecture to make it as sporty as possible.
Yeah,
it's making like 90 horsepower, and it's like a hammer kit on there.
Yeah,
if I'm not mistaken.
And it's got upside down forks and dual disc brakes, and the pegs are kind of in the right spot. I bet it's pretty good.
I really want to ride one of
but
these.
I think it's still a bit cruisery. I'll still never forget that XB9 that we did.
That was wild.
What a crazy bike. What a bike that the engine did not fit the character of the rest of the bike at all. At all. Handled beautifully. It was really nice.
But it revved like a dog.
Oh, it was such a dog. Such a dog. Made all of like 82 horsepower. I was like, wow, this sucks.
These things are so cool, though, because
they're pretty cool.
It's a weird facet of the Sportster line that lasted like 2 or 3 years, and then Harley was like, oh, we got to stop making this.
Yeah. And it's kind of like if you were like the best builder in the world and you made this kind of Sportster into a sport bike thing.
Yes.
It's kind of cool for that reason.
I also like that it's on 17s.
Yeah, that is neat. It would be fun if we could find one of these to do a test ride on as a standalone video. Could be cool. Yeah. I'm gonna give it a 7.5. Cool bike.
I'm gonna give it an 8 just because I like this. I like it.
All right, that's fair.
Rip City is next.
Rip City, my XSR900 on a recent 1,700-mile trip through Nevada, Utah, and California. Oh, I love that colorway.
Yeah, that is a cool colorway, but look at all the shit he's got strapped to the back of this thing.
Yeah. Should have just bought a Tracer 9 at that point. What can we say about the XSR that we haven't already said? It's a great motorcycle, We recently we did that video that is going to come live later in this week as the posting of this video goes live. The XSR 900 versus Z900 RS, right?
Fun video. And, I mean, the XSR, that engine is legendary.
It's so good.
Great engine.
So much torque.
Unfortunately, just an XSR.
It's a little basic, bro. You know? It's a clean bike, but it's a little basic. I think since it is basic, 5 out of 10.
5 out of 10.
Yep, middle of the road there.
Alrighty, next up we have Burger.
Burger, how original, and a second-gen SV650, slightly street fightered after a high side because I have no taste.
Yep. So I actually met Berger out at the Alley Cat Scramble, and I saw this
cool.
bike in person, and not going to lie, it's a little rough around the edges.
I bet Josh looked at it and he's like, wow, this thing's nice.
I mean, just look at all the wires that are coming up by the
Yeah,
handlebars.
no, it looks a little rough. But it's a second-gen SV, and I'm sure he paid next to nothing for it, and it's freaking yellow, which is cool.
I like yellow bikes.
I
I'm
do
starting
too.
to come around on
The
it.
1098.
Yeah.
Oh, the
it was
1098.
so good.
1098 was awesome.
It's like Lamborghini yellow.
Yeah, I love yellow bikes too. They just pop in a way that, you don't see on because I don't think there's really many yellow bikes being sold right now.
I think it's just the Aprilias,
Yeah.
really. Maybe
Just more of an acid gold is what they call it. Not exactly like yellow.
It was pretty yellow.
Kind of yellow. Yeah. It have a different kind of like look to it. This is like nuclear ass, like primary color yellow.
Yes.
Like yellow. I honestly I have seen much worse SBs than this. Maybe that's just because I'm in the track day scene a lot, but I have seen some busted ass SB 650s.
I'm still reminded of Josh's that had
Yeah.
like a, cantaloupe-sized dent in the tank.
Josh's first SV was ridiculous. I was like, how is this thing even going down the road? So this is actually pretty decent, all
Yeah.
things considered. Honestly, I'll give it a 6.
I'll give it a 6 too.
It's not that bad.
Next up, we have Goat Roper
Goat Roper,
ZX6.
just as the X6. Maybe he didn't put a blurb because I kind of know a little bit about it. He's a local at ECR, so he's got his kind of track prepped a little bit. Runs Q3s or Q4s, I can't remember. Got some fun mods to it. It's your absolute middle of the road track day bro bike.
There you go.
It's good enough. Works great. Nothing else you need to do to it, 5 out of 10.
It's a bell curve motorcycle. Next up is Little Vifa.
Little Vifa has a 2000 VFR 800 Fi. From my starter bike after a year on 125 to my daily, over 50,000 miles on the clock like every other VFR, and I've done over half of those in the past 3 years I've had it. Badass. It's full stock, not very loud, it's not the fastest, but it's decent at everything I need it to do, and I don't think it will ever die.
It will not.
That's beautiful. My buddy actually had a VFR that looked just like that same generation. Could crack some freaking sweet nooners on that thing. You just ride wheelies on it constantly.
Did you hear, speaking of VFRs, that Trevor St. McGoodbody is now getting rid of his VFR?
The end times are upon us.
Yeah.
My God.
Yep.
What's he getting instead?
He's just getting rid of his bike.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Sad.
But,
there has been a small part of me that's like, oh, but it sounds good.
it does sound
sounds
good.
good.
No, it sounds really good. If you get a pipe on those things, they sound rad.
Yeah, my SC Project, oh my God, it sounded so good.
Yeah, the startup, just that burble. It's a good engine. It's just wrapped up in a super dad bike, you know? Yeah, man, I forget sometimes that was like your like noble steed. You know what I mean? Like
I put down a lot of miles on that
Yeah.
year I had it.
you've developed and changed a lot as a rider since the VFR days for sure.
It was mostly because of the R1 and then the adventure stuff that we've done.
Yeah.
Because I rode the R1 and I was like, no, I don't need a sport bike.
This is all pointless. Yeah.
I rate this one pretty high, though.
It's super clean.
Yeah.
For 50,000 miles, I'd swear that bike has like 15. It looks great. And I love a VFR. How about, I'm going to give it an 8. I think it's nice. It looks clean, looks good.
Martin McFly.
Martin McFly, my wife's MT09 and my R6S. Here is new. She dropped it once, but it's lowered an inch. She's 4'11". A lowered MT09. That bike was already so goddamn low.
Yeah.
It's probably as low as the Turbo Hayabusa now. My R6 had to have the wire harness replaced. My fault, but it's my dream bike as a kid, and now I want an R1. Can't wait to hear what you say. I am curious that the MT09 was lowered. I know 4'11" is quite short for a rider. It can be pretty challenging. But yeah, look, she's still on her tippy toes, which is pretty crazy. Dang. But I'm glad she's out riding it. That's awesome. But I do wonder what that did to that bike.
That is just the stereotypical R6 angle right there.
And with the vignette too.
Yep.
Y'all R6 boys do this. I don't know who dropped you on your head, but I'm just kidding.
He's on some seriously aggressive sport touring rubber too.
He knows. He's like, look, I'm not getting serious lean angles. I'm out here just ripping this thing around. This is this is that generation of R6 that, in my opinion, is a little awkward, you know? Because you have the kind of early gens, and then you have this one that was kind of like, what was this? They kind of like the upswept handlebars a little bit. And then they had the 08 Plus, like, kind of waspy, you know, the second or third gen.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like this is kind of like the awkward gen for the R6.
The waspy one is the one to get.
That's the one. That's the one. They look great.
I would even have it over the like new R-Bike style
I would
ones.
too. I think that one just looks freaking awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, he's got the Yamaha family. He's also got the little Z bike there too. Love to see it. Keeping it in the Yamaha family, which, you know, for me, got to rate it high. I'll give it a 7.
I'll give it like a 6.
All right.
Just to be contrarian.
Yes.
Space Boop.
Space Boop. Good username. I have a 2019 Yamaha MT09 with about 6,000 miles on the clock. Very torquey and would be a blast with some TKC 80s or something.
Okay.
Interesting. You're not the first MT09 boy to venture off-road. We had a guy on our server a while back who was like, I took it down a fire road. I'm like, you're a maniac. Why would you do that?
Just for giggles?
Yeah, but it's funny because when we did the MT09 giveaway and I had been away from that platform for a while, I was kind of like, you know what? Maybe. You know, because you sit really upright on them. You know? I was kind of like, I'll do a fire road with it. Why not?
You could also stand on it really. You can stand on the Z900 really comfortably.
Yeah. Yeah, you can.
So just throw some light knobs on it and call it a day.
Call it a day. Just don't take it down anything that actually needs some suspension travel.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be kind of like a, you know?
So how are we going to rate?
I think for the quote, for wanting to put TKC 80s on it, I'll give it a 7 because I like that. If it was anything else, I'd be like, oh, that's a bit basic, but you know.
Next up, we've got Vince82.
Vince82 says, this is Minion, a 2020 VStrom 1050 XT. People say that the VStrom is a bike that does everything well but nothing perfect and that it is boring. I say that is not true. It does sport touring pretty damn close to perfect, and it's a 1000cc twin with over 100 horsepower. How the F is that boring? Off-road? It goes down gravel roads fine, but not much more. For where I live in Canada, where half the roads are gravel, but you can go there in a Civic, this is pretty close to perfect. Not all bikes are perfect everywhere, but this is perfect here. Plus, the bike warranty the steel in Hamamatsu. Nice. VStrom 1050 XT. I honestly think this is a pretty sharp-looking little motorcycle, I gotta say. I think it is a little bit boring, but big V-twin, that's kind of cool. It's kind of like the Ducati Multistrada you have at home in some ways. The old school multis with the twins. It's value price. It's Suzuki. It'll run forever. I think it looks pretty cool, honestly. I think they're pretty cool bikes.
I think it's fine.
I think it's all right, yeah.
Get a KLR.
This is not... What?
Get a KLR.
Why would he want a KLR? That would be such a downgrade. This has a real engine in it. It's got 2 cylinders.
Despite my misgivings, the V-Strom is a good motorcycle.
Yeah.
It is a good motorcycle, and I got to give it to Suzuki.
Yeah. I think the XT and kind of adventure boy pretendings that it has is a bit silly. Because, any motorcycle will go down a gravel road, so it's kind of weird to be like, oh, yeah, this bike does gravel. I'm like, well, my Turbo Hayabusa will do gravel. It's like, what do you want? Just manage the throttle. It's fine. It's clean. It's new. I'll give it a 6.5.
A 6.5.
Yep.
Feels appropriate. Full Metal Corgi.
Full Metal Corgi. Ship bike update. The KZ EV conversion. It's part KZ, part AliExpress, and part 07 YZF. And all electrical fuckery. With peak power of 60-ish kilowatts and 300 foot-pounds of torque, I basically made a Ninja 400 without gears. Still about 20% left to go. I love that the batteries look like they're just giant Energizer bars.
Yup.
That looks super jank.
I'm not going to ride that, dude. You can keep it.
Yeah, I would never ride this thing.
Imagine, you're riding it, and then it starts raining.
Oh, God. For me, personally, I would fear death just putting it to charge. I feel like I'd be like, is it gonna just blow up when I'm just away from it and burn my whole house down?
Or you plug it in and all the lights dim.
It's praying to some electrical god. Yeah, the home built electrical stuff's pretty wild. I've seen quite a few of these builds. To do it to a KZ, I think a lot of purists would cry sacrilege for sure. Mm-hmm. But I think it's fun. It's kind of wonky, Mm-hmm. This guy also has a Turbo Hayabusa, so I gotta rate him high. Gotta rate him high. I love that. I love that it's almost done. It's coming together. I wonder what he's going to do for the gas tank and seat situation. Well, maybe he's just going to put the old gas tank on just to have the shape kind of make sense.
Yeah, and then it's just
just for show, for there. Yeah, because otherwise you just have a big divot in the middle. That'll feel weird to ride. I'm gonna give it a 8 for effort, but maybe a 6 for execution because it looks kind of crazy. But not that I could do any better. I would certainly build something even worse.
I'd give it a 4 just because I would fear being in the same room as it.
Honestly, yeah.
I feel like it would just, like massive lightning bolt would come out and shock me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm interested to see what it looks like when it's done.
Yeah. Send us a video of it riding when it's done.
Next up, we have Satsui.
Satsui. I'm a dirt boy now. This is my KTM 250 XCFW. Dude. Awesome. This is my first full-size dirt bike, and good lord, I should have gotten one sooner. Really nice first gear for the trails, a tall 6th gear for the street. It's the greatest thing since sliced bread. Message to all the street-only squids, get a dirt bike. They're so much fun. Yes, they are.
Absolutely.
That is a good-looking XCFW. This is the trail version of my bike, actually. I have a 250 SX, which is the motocross. So this actually has 6 gears, a non-dinner plate size sprocket, and a throttle response that doesn't feel like it's going to frickin' kill you.
A little bit more normal, you might say.
Yeah. Interesting that you said that 6 gears good for cruising and stuff, because I am not seeing much in the way of street accommodations for this thing. So you may be riding it dirty.
It might be riding it dirty, or it might just not be needed in where they live. Because apparently you can get away with that stuff in a lot of states.
Really?
Yeah, apparently some like podunk states.
Man.
Where, you can...
I feel like here in Texas, if I were to ride my 250 just down here, I'd get pulled over immediately.
Yeah, but this is also Austin. There are places where, you barter with a banjo, sheep, and threats. And I think around there, you'd probably be fine to ride this on the street.
That's true, yeah. Love that we have a Dirt Boy Convert. What is that blue bike over there in the background?
It's a Triumph.
Oh, my man, my guy. He's got a Triumph, got a dirt bike. He's speaking my language. You got a Daytona and a KTM dirt bike. That's the same setup I got. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. This guy gets a 10.
It'd be street illegal after I put the lights back on. So
interesting. Took them off. Okay. Yeah. Well, cool. Well, that is a lot of fun. Nothing like a lightweight little dirt bike to rip around on and do trails on. You're going to learn so much. Really nice little bike.
Next up, we've got Oyster Cracker 4.
Oyster Cracker 2022 Rebel 500. Rode for 2 months and 99.9% sure I have someone coming to take it off my hands tomorrow for my payoff. I sure as shit hope so because I have a deposit on a new XSR900 that I'm unapologetically simping over. Estimated delivery in July. Let's take a look at this bad boy.
That is a sportstered out Rebel right there.
That is definitely a sportstered out Rebel and kind of like an Indian Scout Rebel with the leather tan bags and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Curious little machine. I bet the Rebel 500 is much like all the other 500s. It's probably like, okay, all right.
I would imagine in the Rebel it's more acceptable because it's a cruiser.
Okay.
That engine was unacceptable in the R, but they changed the cam timing. They changed the sprockets.
The Rebel
and
is lighter, isn't it?
It's definitely lighter.
Because the CBR 500 is ridiculous. It's like 415 pounds or something.
It's heavy.
This is inexcusable.
Yeah. So that motorcycle.
Here I go again about the CBR.
It's a bad motorcycle and no one should buy it.
Nope. And it costs like $8,000.
Yeah, the Rebel has gotten a lot of people on motorcycles, specifically this new generation of Rebels.
The 300 and the 500, man, Honda just prints those out. It's insane. I don't love the bags. I gotta say, I think it looks a little awkward, but I guess storage is storage,
Yeah.
Man, I'm gonna give it like a 5.5.
I think that's fair. Unfortunately, it's still just a Rebel.
Yeah.
Which is the least rebellious motorcycle on the road.
It's true.
Next up, we have Arrowhead 87.
Arrowhead 87 says, this is my 2020 Kawasaki KLX 250 camo. Have had almost 2 years now and no regrets. Looking to upgrade soon to something more street-oriented, but will definitely be keeping this beauty. P.S. Michael Cera wants his mustache back. Nice. Mine will grow thicker than Michael's, don't you worry. Just needs time. It's only been 2.5 weeks. Give me some time, guys.
Wherever he's at looks awesome.
Yeah, it looks freaking sweet. Probably looks maybe somewhere out west, California, hills or something like that. Looks like a lot of fun. Your KLR is camo, isn't it? Or is it not?
It's
or is it
the
digital camo?
Cypher camo. It's not really camouflaged.
Okay. Because that, I think, is the same colorway on the 250. I would love to try one of those out. I still have yet to ride one of those.
I actually almost bought, before I got the DRZ, I almost bought a 250 Sumo.
Nice.
Yeah. I was like this close, but somebody bought it out from under me, and then I ended up with the DRZ that I ended up with.
What a journey that was.
Yeah.
Yeah. A bike you don't miss.
Yeah, no, I'm glad that thing is
Yeah,
gone.
you never talk about it or even daydream about it, yeah.
Nope, I still see pictures of it, and I was like, oh yeah, I had that DRZ for a while, huh?
Yeah.
KLX, I mean...
KLX 250
cool
camo.
bike.
That's a good bike. Dual Sport boys. Rejoice. Stand up. I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10.
7.
Yeah.
MT9 is next.
MT9. Here is my new to me 08 WR250R. Yes, it's beat up, but that's okay because it's ready for me to absolutely abuse. It was born in a fire, and there it shall live. Some mods: black Mamba front headlight, pro taper bars, pivot pegs, FMF exhaust, 3-gallon gas tank. That's a great mod.
Yes.
And lastly, clapped black plastics. Let me see the headlight on that bad boy.
This is the ugliest headlight I've ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah, it looks like a Bionicle.
Yeah, I'm sorry if you put that headlight on there and you think it's cool. That is a headlight.
Yeah, the stock headlight looks fine. Why would you do that? You literally made it look like a Bionicle.
Yeah.
It looks really goofy.
This literally looks like my DRZ when I first bought it.
Yeah, it looks a little rough, but hey, it's a WR. Like
that's what they're supposed to look like.
That's what they're supposed to work on. That's what they're supposed to do. Those things are awesome, and they're literally unkillable. And the valve clearance checks are like every 22,000 miles.
26.
Is it 26?
I'm pretty sure it's 26,000.
That's insane.
Yep.
That is insane. You said, bought it that way, I'll make sure I loop it in a parking lot. Nice. That's what you're meant to do with it. Yeah, I would give this one, I think this one gets a 4 out of 10.
A 4 out of 10.
But it gets an honorary 9 out of 10 for being a fun little dual sport. Because everyone should have one of these.
Yes.
Not a WR, but something like this, you know?
Everybody needs a dual sport in their life.
Yes.
It's California 556, squeezing it in at the last.
California says, I ride the Honda, and my roommate, whose middle name is Kyle, rides the Kawasaki. And he says, looks good to me. I can't really tell what that is. It's got the twin pipes, and it's a CR, so it's definitely some off-road Honda.
Yeah, it's CRF something or other.
Yeah, it's some competition spec Honda, because they only put the twin pipes on those.
And then the KLX.
KLX. But that's also a motocross bike, I think. I don't know.
Don't they call those? Don't they run those as KLXs?
I think so. I can't remember.
Yeah.
Cool.
Not
Can't really see it, but yeah, cool to see dirt bikes, I guess.
Yep. A lot of dirt bikes today, which
a lot
makes
of
me happy.
dirt bikes. That is happy to see it. Yeah. I hope we've imbued some of you street squids to ride off-road. And I hope you've enjoyed this It Came From Discord. Thanks so much for the Discord boys for sending us in. We are sorry we could not get to everyone. We had to keep this nice and tight on time. There's many other people. We'll be sure to take a look at and maybe respond on the Discord as well. But now let's move on to the comment roast.
This is going to be fun.
I'm excited about this one. Keep watching Gaming Noob!